All right. Hi, Lesley Logan here. I am a coach instead of agency. I know that might be obvious, but if you've never heard of it or don't know who I am, then hello, it's nice to meet you. I just want you to know I have been a Pilates instructor for a company. I have been a studio manager. I've been a teacher trainer. I've been a lead teacher trainer. I've run retreats. I've been a renter. I've been an independent contractor. I've owned my own studio. I have a home studio. What else have I done? I've done led retreats. I have an online platform. Y'all, in this industry, I have done all of the things that you could want to do, and I can give you the pros and cons of those things and also how to map it out so that you can make it happen. And I know that sounds like a fucking brag, and it is, because the reality is that there's a lot of behind the scenes things that you might not know that are going into it. You might be frustrated that you're not getting the calls or you're not getting ahead in those things. And I can tell you how to do that. And so that's what I really am an expert in instead of agency, plus the marketing and really just charging your worth and upholding your boundaries. So that's what I do. Today, I actually wanted to teach you something that I taught our agency members in the end of December about marketing. And it's because if you have been telling people that you've got this thing coming up and then no one's signing up, you could feel like a failure. You could feel like no one's listening to you. You could feel like you want to quit. And in fact, one of our members was like, no one signed up for my January thing. This is the middle of December. No one signed up for my January thing. I'm just not going to do it. And it's like, well, yeah, it's the holidays. Like, I'm just so sorry. They can love it, but no, they're thinking about their Christmas. They're thinking about how not to get sick over the Christmas, all that stuff. So here is my tips. When you are selling your services, workshops, products, anything, you need to keep this in mind. Number one, people need to know how it solves their problem. And I want to make sure you understand their problem, the problem that they know they have. So that's number one. Number two, be expected to bust objections. So you want to think ahead of time about why someone wouldn't buy the thing in the first place. Like, what are all the reasons why they wouldn't buy this? And you're like, it's amazing, they need it, but why wouldn't they buy it? What's getting in the way of that? And if you're an agency, I actually talk to you through examples of all of these things because I have real life examples of why someone would buy my shit. And so you got to think about what those are. And then I want you to think of ahead of time so that you can actually, in your marketing, bust those objections as they come up. Number three, if there is not a sense of urgency, people will wait till whenever. Let me say that again. If there is not a sense of urgency, people will wait till whenever. I know we all hate the marketing things. We hate, like, there's the early bird thing. There's this thing. This is a game we all have to play because it's psychological. Y'all, human beings are notorious until they will wait until the last minute. The people who buy on day one are your high users, high loyals. They already know they love you. But you're trying to grow something. You're trying to get the people in the middle. And good luck. And those people it's a majority of human beings. They will wait until the last minute. And so you have to have a sense of urgency, meaning you have to have a deadline of when they have to sign up. And that sometimes is a price increase, or sometimes it's like, it's full, it's over, cards closed, right? So it has to have a sense of urgency. Number four, you have to talk about more than you think. This is a thing that this one drives me the craziest, because I will talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And then the day after something is over, someone goes, hey, do you have anything that can help me with this? And it's like, I've been talking to you about this for 7 weeks. Where were you? But the truth is that obviously what I was saying was not landing in their ears. So either I wasn't in the right proper channels, or I wasn't using the words that they would use to make sure that they understood that what I was telling them actually solved their problem. I already said number five, but your high users, high loyals will buy first. So if you put something out there and your high users, high loyals don't buy it, I want you to actually ask them if you thought that they would, right? Like there's sometimes my high users and high loyals will go to buy something. I'm like, you already bought that. Don't buy. but if they don't, then I actually will say, hey, did you see this thing I put out? I'm just wondering, like, if you have any questions. And then if they don't, then I'm like, okay. But oftentimes it's like either the timing didn't work, or they're like, sometimes like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. So like, it's really good if your high user, high loyals don't buy something from you that you expect them to buy, then we need to go back to the drawing board on your messaging around the problem that it solves. Number six, this is super important. Are you listening? You will hear crickets in the middle. What is the middle? The middle is the space between when you announce the thing that you're trying to sell and when the end of things for people to sign up is. So the middle is, dreadful. It's dreadful. It's awful, but you'll hear crickets. There is a moan because of my dog, because that's how dreadful it is. It's so dreadful. You will feel like no one is listening, and you have to talk about it more than you think, because they will all show up at the end on those last days if you kept talking about it, if they think it solves their problem. Number 7, as I just said, most of your sales will happen at the very end. If you have a deadline, if you don't have a deadline, then it's just gonna be like, you'll just feel like you're talking about the same thing all the time. We have to get way more creative, and we'll have to do some coaching around that. So, I shared this inside of an agency. This is something I talk about a lot, and it's really important that you hear it, because you just need to know that marketing is not about putting a poster on the thing saying, come to my class. Can't do that anymore. You have to make sure that people understand that you are the best at what you do at solving the problem that they know that they have. Okay. So, super quickly, one of my favorite coaching calls that I had recently was with one of our pro members, who we actually mapped out what she's going to do for the whole year next year, which is so much fun when you can get to that space. And if you're like, oh my gosh, that overwhelms me, don't freak out. Every coaching call is based on you and your goals. And that is on purpose. We don't do formulaic stuff like every single person goes to the exact same thing. Everything is based on what you want to do. And she's been in agency for quite some time. And so we were really able to make sure her foundation is set up. So this year we got to look at each quarter. And so she actually is going into this year right now that we're talking about, knowing which vacation week she has off, which products she's talking about, and when she's doing that. And she gets to go back to the nitty gritty. And then we really dove in deep around the blog post that she's going to write. And you're like, blogging is dead. I'm not a writer. That's what she said. And she is having a lot of fun doing it. And it's actually making her content really easy. So that's really cool. I really hope to meet you inside of agency. I really do. It is my favorite thing that I get to do, is support businesses, because if you've ever heard me talk about Pilates and business before, you'll hear me say this: not everyone will like me. They just won't. I'm not a taco. I'm not a taco. And it's important that you are able to teach the people that you want to teach when you want to teach them, and make the money that you want to make. Because I know that if your schedule is full, it's full of supporting people, and we can't change lives if we don't have them in our schedules. And I'm on a mission for more bodies to do Pilates, and that you're part of that. So anyways, hope to see you in there.
Brad here. My name's Brad Crowell. You may or may not know me. Obviously, I'm co-host on the pod here with Lesley, usually on the alternating episodes. However, I have also been a coach inside of agency since we started the program, and I love it. It is so much fun to meet everyone who is coming through with their different types of businesses and the different things that they're focused on, and get to work, and I get to work with them. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of every week are the coaching calls that I get to have inside of agency with the members. A couple of the things that I coach on really connect to my background. So I went to Los Angeles to do music, and for years I was doing that, hustling, booking shows, gigs, getting, out there, basically meeting people, all the same things that fitness business owners do on the hustle of becoming known in your neighborhood, in your community, right? So I actually was out there doing it for music, but it's the same stuff. And then along the way, I got offered a job at a startup company. And then from 2007 on, I've worked in tech startups, and I've been doing all these startup companies and all these different things, from marketing to web development to account management to sales, all these different things. I wore all these different hats, right? So typically what I'm coaching on is some kind of operations inside of a business, or some kind of tech, or one of my favorite things to coach on is directly tied to one of my most recent coaching call wins. So I love to run the numbers, okay? And numbers are boring, and, who wants to talk about that stuff? But I will tell you, when you have clarity on your numbers, it changes the game. It changes how you perceive, what clients you're taking, how often you're teaching, when you're teaching, what you're offering. It will help you make decisions, because it's just it creates clarity. It's amazing. So one of my favorite coaching call wins that I've recently had was when a new member came into agency, and I got really fired up for them. And we sat down and we ran through all the numbers together. And she said, I just want to be making $60,000 a year. And I really need to get there. And I'm so, I'm ready to do this. It's time. Right. And so we sat down and we looked at her existing business and we said, all right, you're teaching this many of private clients. You got some duets, so trios in there, and then a group class on the side. And she said, yeah, I've been working really hard to build this business. And we basically mapped out what that income would look like over the year. And guess what? She would literally be making $60,000 with exactly the clients she had today. And it was like a massive shock to her to go, wait, what? Really? Now she hasn't had that for a year. She hasn't seen that money come in. But if she maintained what she's currently doing, she would be at that. So that, for me, was really exciting because then we get to go, well, what if we dream big? You're doing that right now. What if we could grow this? What if you could hit 100,000? What would that look like? And then we got a chance to map that out together. And just like I think Lesley mentioned, that is so much fun to be able to help you create a path to get from where you are today to where you want to be going in your business. And that's something that I love to do. So one piece of advice that I have for you, happy 2023 for this new year, is that it is normal to feel fear. Okay? You would not be human if you did not feel fear. You would be a robot. Okay? But dwelling on that fear is what trips most people up. Okay, you need to feel it, you need to acknowledge it, and then you need to set that fear aside and you need to focus on the positive, right? And doing this is actually a choice, okay? It's not always an easy choice. It often comes with a lot of talking to yourself, but it's still a choice, right? We had a webinar guest come in and she said that we are the thinker of our own thoughts. And that was like mind blown for me because, of course, I'm the thinker of my thoughts. So if I'm the thinker of my thoughts, that means I have control over those thoughts. So this is where it comes back to it being a choice. When you dwell on the fear, you will stay in that and it will affect all the decisions that you make. Everything about you that you're doing will be decisions made in fear, or you can understand that you have fear, set it aside, and you can make a decision that is not based on fear. And something that Lesley loves to say all the time, taking messy action is the antidote to fear. Messy action is the antidote to fear, right? And one of the positive things about being inside of agency and having coaches working with you is that there's community, there's Slack, there's group calls, there's one-on-one coaching calls, and that messy action, maybe it doesn't actually have to even be messy. Maybe it can just be action because you're getting coaching on the action that you're planning to take, right? So one of the reasons why we would love to see you in agency with us and come join us in Agency Mini to give that, to try it out, to figure out if you, want to work with us. And then of course, we've got an incredible community inside of agency already waiting to meet you.
Hi, I'm Roxy Menzies, and we're your agency coaches. My specialty is helping you with all things writing. So that includes content creation, content strategy, proposal and grant writing, publishing, writing blogs and articles, and really just getting your voice out there. And I also help with idea generation and clarity and general business.
If you were going to give one piece of advice to someone who's just getting started with creating a blog for their website so that they can capture some kind of attention through Google searches, what would you give them?
What I give them? Well, first they have to know what their branding is and who they're talking to. And then you go from there. And just meaning, so if you know that you're a pre and postnatal specialist, you can have a couple of blogs and they don't have to be super long. You just have a couple of blogs like talking about, you can talk about the pain points and how Pilates is going to help you have an easier pregnancy or prepare you for birth, that kind of thing, and you do it in your own voice. I think what happens is sometimes people get worried that they have to sound a certain way.
Yeah, sure.
And that's not it. You just have to sound like you. Okay. You don't have to sound like you're a university professor. You don't have to sound like you have a medical degree. You need to sound like you. So
Yeah.
how you would talk, how you would feel comfortable saying something if you were having talking to someone to their face about the subject.
Hi, my name is Melissa Capitano, and I joined Agency Mini in January 2021. I actually signed up for it in November or December, so it felt less scary that way because I knew it was still kind of out there. I think that was the exact moment that I knew that Mini was going to work for me, because I felt like they were going to give me some answers and some support. So even if I didn't get all the answers and if I didn't get all the people, at least I would know that there were people who have done this before, they've been successful, and there's people who've been, up and down, and then we had that community together. So I think, do I feel like the problem of not getting the word out there is completely solved? No, I don't feel like that problem is solved, but I feel like I can see what life is going to look like when things are solved. And I know that joining agency from Mini is part of that solution, that I have the support I need, that I have a place where I can ask questions, and I know the people who are answering the questions know what they're talking about. And I also love that there's not a one size fits all for everyone in agency. There's people who are studio owners. There are people who are doing their own thing. There are people who have home studios. There are people like me who are yoga and Pilates instructors and are working at a studio and also working to do our own thing. So in other aspects, I felt like this is the only way to do it. This is the only way that works. And you have to follow our step-by-step guidelines, and then you'll find success. So with agency, I get support with however I want to do it, and they'll tell me a better way to do it if I'm not doing it in the best way. And so I'm really happy about that.
What's up? It's Alex Street. I am your story coach here in agency. I am helping brand owners like yourself clarify your story and message so you can show up and speak about yourself and your business with more confidence than ever before. And so far, being an agency coach has been such a riot. I absolutely love getting on these calls and saying, like, what do you want to work on? And then you'll come with all these things and all these issues and all these problems. And just the other day, it was actually the second call that somebody booked with me within 2 weeks to work through this messaging issue. And we got to this point where I was breaking down all the information and helping her experience really what we were talking about. And she said, wait, can we just hold on for a second? I think what I'm hearing is, and what I'm experiencing is, it's been there all along. It's already in there. And I was like, that's the one. That's it. That's the moment. And I love seeing those eyes light up and that aha moment, that discovery moment of it's already there. It's already within your story. Whatever problems you have, your story will solve it. And so if you're sitting here and you're nervous about booking a coaching call, getting involved in this, taking that step, I want you to know that all that we're here for is to uncover something that's already there, that you already have the answers, and we get to be here and support you through that discovery process, especially when it comes to storytelling and messaging. It's already there, and it's more simple than you think. So I'm excited to get to know you and to see you in agency, get on one of these coaching calls and help you solve whatever problems you've got by clarifying your story and helping you move forward with confidence. We'll see you in agency. Bye.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Veronese. I am a coach with agency. I specialize in social media, so all things Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, I'm your girl. One of the things I love about doing these coaching calls is being able to talk with people and finding out, hey, here's the issues I'm having, or, where are the opportunities for me, giving them some tips, some ideas and strategies, and then seeing them immediately implement it on their own social media. It's amazing to see them seeing success. So if you're approaching the new year and trying to figure out what's my plan, I don't know what to do, what do I do? My main tip that I'll give you to walk away with is to think about social media as telling your story. Tell people why you do what you do. How did you get into this industry? How are you helping people? People want to do business with people, so make sure that you're not just sharing about business, but sharing about your own story as well. I hope to see you over here in agency.
Hi, my name is Missy Campbell, and I am a Pilates instructor and a very new Pilates studio owner. And I joined Agency Mini in early January, right after the first of the year, right after I bought a small studio in Northern Michigan. And I wasn't actually looking for the support that I ended up receiving. I knew I wanted to buy a studio, and I knew I wanted to be a really good teacher. And those are the two things that have moved me forward into where I am now. I knew by the end of the agency, or Mini, that I was going to do the agency. And the first week was intimidating. The crossover from Mini to regular agency, I feel, was handled so appropriately and delicately for all of us little flowers that were headed in that direction. It was overwhelming when you already have a plate full. But not only did Brad and Lesley draw you a well-documented roadmap, they actually were the rest stops along the way, that roadmap. And anytime you had a question, you had people to go to, and it was impressive the amount of time and energy that was spent in making that an efficient process. So that first week was a little intimidating, but super easy to figure out. And then once I started agency, I felt a little overwhelmed with the amount of information and the amount of interaction that was there.
Hi, my name's Chloe Patterson. I joined Mini on the 24th of January 2021. Life for me now is just learning to deal with not having to have things spinning around in my head so much that I can actually work out ways to deal with the problems that I need to deal with, that I can start to, and already have started working on my website, looking at booking systems, doing newsletters, thinking about getting someone to help me, and just making all these little pointers towards trying to make my life a little bit easier. As a Pilates teacher, you spend your whole time kind of trying to make everyone else's life easier. So here's the time for you. So here's the time for you to make your life easier, for you to just understand a few more business things that people in business just know already, but if you're someone from a more creative or artistic or fitness field, that you might not have ever had that input into your life. You might never have learned any of those things. So it's really nice to have that. You know, if you already know those things, then fine, but I think it's always somewhere that you can grow and share. The more people that are members, the more ideas and more different perspectives you're going to have on different problems.
Well, I hope you had fun listening to some of our coaches and some of our members, and Brad and I share a little bit more, maybe what you didn't know about us as coaches and what we do in there. And I truly, if you are a fitness instructor of any level, that means like you just finished your training or you've been teaching for several decades. If any of this like was like, perked your interest, like you did a little in your
If
brain.
you did a little
Sign up and join us. You have nothing to lose, right? It's 7 days of you coming in and getting literally information that's going to change your business moving forward, whether you continue with us or not.
Yep.
And also just, you get to ask whatever you want and like literally get the answer.
Yeah. So, and it's basically, in summary, again, it's a 7-day snippet of our ongoing coaching program. So you get to experience what it is like to have a coach, what it's like to have a coach of Lesley and me. Get to know us if you don't know us already. In there, we're going to host a webinar. So you'll get to see what the webinars are like that we host in agency. We'll host a group call, same idea. We do that in agency, and we'll have group chat. And so you'll be able to do the same thing in agency. And we're going to experience all those things over 7 days. And at the end of it, we'll have an invitation for you to join us in the ongoing coaching program, but it's the best opportunity to give it a try and check it out. So come join us.
And also just give yourself permission to have some help. Here's the deal. Can you do it all on your own? Sure. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
And you will make mistakes and you will also have wins, and you won't always know what worked and what didn't work because unless you're psychic, right? So I think it's just really important to like let yourself be in a place to have people pour into you and support you and see what that's like. And then you can make a decision what you want to do in the future. But I promise you, 1 week of getting this adventure business is going to actually exponentially.
So impactful.
Yeah, we have people who we do this because it's a great way to help as many instructors as possible, but also because we want to help you ongoing. And we know that can be an investment. We want you to feel safe and secure. So whatever your reason for joining is, you are going to leave with clarity on your business and you're going to know how to take it moving forward. And I promise you that this is the best time to do it.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about those topics we're going to cover. So it's going to be really focusing in on you, who you are, your story, how that is connected to what you're offering, right? So you're going to create clarity there. We're also going to work on pricing. How should you be pricing? How much should you be charging? So clarity as well there. Who you're for, the client specifically that will be interested in working with you. How do you connect specifically with your preferred client in your community, right? So some marketing stuff that's going on there. At the end of it, you're going to walk away in just 7 days. You're going to walk away with really a refresh look at what it is you're doing and who you're offering what to and how much you're offering it to them for.
And also maybe you're like, guys, I got that down, but I got these 17 questions. Great. Then come and get confidence from what you already have set in stone for yourself.
So clarity and confidence. I love it.
Thank you. And then get your questions answered. What's so cool is like when you can see someone ask a question and then you can see an answer and you're like, I did that. You can go, oh my God, I did a great job there. Like you can actually like give yourself permission to be like, whoa, I know some things. And like, that's going to help you take bigger steps in your business.
Yeah. Well, anyway, go to profitablepilates.com/mini, profitablepilates.com/mini, and either join us live at the end of January or get yourself on the wait list for the next time we're doing this round. Thank you so much for joining us on the pod today. And if you think that this was a fun episode, please share it with friends. That's how we get to put this amazing message in front of more people, is because with your help. So thanks again for being here. You're all amazing.
And until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.